A not good Cal team dominated Virginia on Wednesday night. The writing is officially on the wall, unfortunately. Chris Graham here, Augusta Free Press. Now, I'm not denigrating that Cal team. They won the game and they played well in that game. Virginia made them look like world beaters, but that Cal team, let's be fair and be honest, that beat Virginia like a drum Wednesday night, Thursday morning for a lot of us, obviously, those if who live on the East Coast of the U.S. Eastern Time Zone. That's not a good Cal team right now. They had lost 6 of 7 coming in. They're going to lose a bunch more before the season's over. And just again, being blunt, I mean, that's a team that's going to struggle this year. But they dominated Virginia. They got to the foul line 33 times. They held Virginia to 6 makes at the rim. And I'm thinking that maybe the last few holdouts. The folks who send me emails, questioning why I'm down on this year's team and writing at length numerous times about the coaching search because Ron Sanchez is not going to be the coach full time after the season's over. Maybe those folks are starting to finally get the message. Um, this Cal team had won once since Thanksgiving going into Wednesday night, and that was in a guarantee game. Uh, Jacksonville State, I think it was, and they beat Virginia by 14. They led by double digits for 16 minutes in the second half. Virginia cut it to 9 a couple of times, so it wasn't like Virginia ever got close after getting down double digits. The writing is on the wall. Um, the hard thing for me to figure out now is how this Virginia team beat Villanova in Baltimore back earlier in the season by 10 points and dominated that game. I mean, Virginia led by double digits in the first half of that one. Villanova made a run to make it relatively close going into halftime, and then the league got right back up to double digits, and Virginia led by, safely in the teens until the final margin was 10. That game was not a 10-point game. Virginia dominated that Villanova team in that game. Third game of the season. That Villanova team on Wednesday night beat UConn, and they're now 11-5 on the season. And Ken Pom projects this Villanova team to be 19-12, 12-8 in the Big East. And if that's the case, they're an NCAA tournament team. This Virginia team is projected right now to go 14-17 by Ken Pom and be playing on Tuesday in the ACC tournament. I would never have guessed leaving Baltimore. And Scott German can attest. Scott German went up with me to Baltimore for that game. We covered that game together. Neither one of us would have guessed that Virginia team leaving that day would turn out to be this Virginia team. So how it happened, just again being blunt, the offense sucks. Virginia shot 32.8% against Cal, 19 of 58 overall. They were 7 of 23 from three, 6 of 16 on shots at the rim, and 6 of 19 on mid-range twos. I mean, nothing was working. Nothing was working. And as hard as it is to say, the defense sucks too. I'm sorry to be blunt, but Cal was 12 of 22 at the rim, 27 of 33 at the line. Virginia was whistled for 23 fouls. Now coming in, Virginia was one of the best teams in the country. You probably heard that on the broadcast. In terms of least number of fouls per game, 13.9 per game. So Virginia committed almost 10 fouls more in this game. And going into the game, Virginia opponents had averaged just 12.7 free throw attempts a game. I mentioned 33 free throw attempts for this Cal team. Virginia could not, it was not overly officious officiating crew. It was Virginia just couldn't stop this team, and so out of position, you foul guys. It was a basic beatdown. Cal more athletic, more physical, and they wanted it more as well. So that's the physical part, athletic part, and then the want to part, unfortunately, not there for the Virginia kids. How our guys did, Andrew Rohde was good. Continued his recent run of solid play. He had 14 points, 6 assists, 1 turnover in 33 minutes. Quick math, he is averaging, what would that be? He's got just under 14 points a game in his last 3 games, and he's shooting well. He was 6 of 13 from the floor in this one. Jacob Kofi had a good game, only 18 minutes, 12 points, 5 of 9 field goals. It was due to foul trouble. He had 2 first half fouls, but then uh, picked up his third foul at the 19:15 mark of the second half and sat for 8 minutes. Ron Sanchez was just a little cautious there, a little overcautious, let's say. Cal had led 35-32 at the break in this one, and had just, had scored 4 points, got a and one, Andrei Stojakovic, and then another free throw to make it 39-32 in the opening 45 seconds. Um, the game was still, they were still touching each other at that point, right? By the time Kofi got back in with 11:23 to go, it was a 15-point game, and the game was over. Um, uh, to point something out that's should be obvious, but I look at things like plus minus. Plus minus is the reflection of the score of the game when you're in the game. Kofi was the only Virginia player with a positive plus minus online. He was plus four. The Virginia outscored Cal by four, plus four, when Kofi was on the floor. Um, Other guys, Elijah Saunders had the oddest double-double you'll ever see, 11 points and 10 rebounds, but the 11 points came with one made field goal. He was 1 for 8 from the floor, but he was 8 for 8 at the line. Ishan Sharma, the freshman who is being groomed to be a backup point guard, he was recruited as a perimeter shooter, made a couple threes. In fact, he made three threes in this game. Had 9 points, 3 of 7 from three-point range, 2 assists, no turnovers, 25 minutes. We'll talk about how he got 25 minutes in a second. Um, Blake Buchanan, 6 points, 5 rebounds in 17 minutes, 1 of 5 field goal. He made four free throws, 4 of 4 at the foul line. 6 and 5. I mean, for some reason, I keep thinking Jason Kane when I think of Blake Buchanan. If you're a longer term Virginia basketball fan, you'll remember Jason Kane from the Dave Lato years. And he may have played a year for Tony Bennett too. I don't remember right off, but Kane was a guy that eventually played himself into being a decently productive guy over time. He wasn't a highly regarded recruit, if you remember. Blake Buchanan was a highly regarded recruit. He was a four-star who chose Virginia over Gonzaga, and he's from Idaho. I mean, just pretty much he's right there, right? Um, just across the Washington Idaho border. Um, that 18 points and 7 rebounds. Remember that second game of his freshman season against Florida in Charlotte? You see, when he put those numbers up, I'm thinking, man, we're all thinking, man, this kid, look at this kid. He's 6 points and 5 rebounds is pretty much his average since. So he's not progressed, unfortunately. That's a coaching staff thing. You got to think. I mean, Isaac McNeely, I get a lot of emails from people who will say things along the lines of, "Why does he play so much?" He's not good with the ball. He pretty much is a one-trick pony. He can shoot threes, and that's about it. And I usually don't write back to say, "Oh, I can't believe you say that. He's the team's leading scorer." Because I kind of see it too, but I don't want to. I don't want to agree because he's the team's leading scorer. 12.3 points a game going into the game against Cal. Just 3 points, 1 of 8 shooting, 1 of 4 from three. Missed the front end of a 1-and-1 that would have gotten the game down to from double digits to single digits again. 37 minutes in this game. He had 3 points, 2 rebounds, an assist, and a turnover, a steal, and 2 personal fouls. You got to get more out of 37 minutes from your leading scorer than that. Even if it's just, if he's not making shots, doing other stuff. He did nothing else. So the critics, you send me the emails, you're right. You're right. Tate Murray started, got 19 minutes, made a three, had a rebound and 2 turnovers. That's not a lot for 19 minutes. Anthony Robinson, 4 second half minutes with Kofi on the bench, nice and one and a rebound. That's not much. And speaking of barely there, this one takes the cake. TJ Power, the former five-star recruit, the guy who played for a year at Duke before transferring out, he got 12 minutes off the bench, which I did not realize. I've noted this in my post-game story. I didn't realize he'd gotten 12 minutes until I looked at a box score. That's how unnoticeable he was, right? Um, in 12 minutes, he had one missed shot, one rebound, an assist, and a turnover, and a personal foul. I mean, that's nothing. It's nothing. And then we get to Day Ames. We can now say is officially in the doghouse. He started 11 games at point this season. In the last three, he's seen his minutes dramatically diminished. He got 4 minutes off the bench in this one, and the last couple were the garbage time minutes. Um, You gotta remember he averaged 10.3 points on 45% shooting from the floor and 56% shooting from three in his first six starts. And now he got 10 minutes, excuse me, 9 minutes against NC State, 10 minutes against Louisville, 4 minutes against Cal. I think it's a fair question whether he's going to even be with the program here in a few days. So we'll have to see about that.